Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff, and this is the Promised Neverland Episode 9 review. With me, as always, are Coby and Torie. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. I'm glad I can be here for another episode.
Oh, man. Going off of the joke, we wanted to be dull, but then I realized if this is just a new person chiming in, they're going to think we're dull to begin with. Oh, my joke backfired.
Oh, no. We're dull.
I don't know what you guys are going for there.
Something different?
I thought you were going for like a robot-esque.
I kind of was, and I changed my mind halfway through.
Yeah,
so
you changed your tone there.
Yeah,
You gotta commit.
So I gotta commit to the bit. But anyway, I'm happy to be here.
Just like the kids in this show.
They commit. That was a good segue.
Yes, I'm all about the segues. That's my thing.
You ride segways?
On this show. No. I'm open.
No.
I'm open to new experiences.
Okay.
Who's not open to new experiences? These kids in
kids.
Promised Neverland.
Oh, hey. So let's talk about these kids who are... Wait, what was my segue about? Oh, yeah, who are good at commitment and segues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so hot off the back of the last episode, this is another great episode, I think. So I'm excited to talk about it with you guys.
Man.
It's so cool because I think it's like the episode where it seems like so much happens, but really like nothing happens. Like not like a whole lot in terms of what we're like used to.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed very straightforward from like a point A to point B type thing, and then it ended. I was like, "There's that 20 minutes of an episode?
I know.
Like I can't believe it. I need more."
It seemed less than the other episode, but left us with more questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was very light on plot development, but heavy on character development, I guess you could say, or more of like character reinforcements. I guess we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So we begin the episode right where we left off with Mom just broken Emma's leg, and Ray is all like, "What happened to her leg?" And Mom's like, "Don't worry, it's a clean break."
So that's a
It'll
weird
heal."
question, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it highlights that like even Ray wouldn't think that Mom would break Emma's leg so brutally like that.
Or, I mean, he could have thought that he, like, really damaged her leg. Like, he said out of concern, like, what did you do to her leg? Like,
That's
what
true.
happened?
And she replied in kind, saying, "Yeah, it'll heal in about a month or two." And she's like, "Hopefully it'll heal on your birthday, Ray," which we all know he's about to be shipped out on his birthday.
January.
So wouldn't that be quite the gift? Emma's leg heals, and then they both get shipped off together. Great. So the kids now have to deal with the sudden conflict thrust upon them, the fact that Norman has to be shipped off the next day. And so we have Ray, Dawn, and Gilda. They're kind of panicking at this point. And they're all like, "Oh, shit. Mom has the rope. Emma's leg's broken." And then Ray's like, "You know what? We can always make new rope. Emma's leg will heal. The problem right now is figuring out what to do with Norman, because that's a big issue at hand." And so they're just kind of like racking their brains, trying to figure out how they're going to save Norman. And back inside, we have Emma laying on the bed, and Norman is by her bedside, comforting her. And, Norman kind of has his same old cheery disposition, sort of trying to comfort Emma. But obviously Emma is very worried for him. And Norman's like, "Hold up, I'm going to get you some water." And so, he walks out of the room. And I think a really, really good sequence occurs where the camera just kind of follows Norman as he's walking down the hallway. And
Just beautiful.
yeah, like it's a really somber moment, because like you just know with each footstep, he's just sinking lower and lower and realizing what situation he's in. And when he starts pouring the water out, he basically just collapses in on himself and starts crying.
Oh.
He's in a real shit situation, and I just love this moment of vulnerability from him. I mean, it's obviously something you'd expect from a kid, like, hey, this kid knows he's going to die. But, Norman's always seemed to be that guy that's like, everything's going to go according to plan. And he's always trying to put on a face for everyone else. But so it's just nice to see him actually,
Is it nice?
Be sad.
So
Yeah,
sad.
is it nice?
It is sad.
It is so sad watching, but it's just a beautifully shot sequence. Like I don't say that a lot for like animes where like I respect the way where they place. I say where they place the camera, but there's obviously not a camera. But it's like how they frame their shots. I don't know if this is
How they
directly
direct the
lifted.
scenes.
Yeah, from the manga or not. But if it is, then that's just props to it. Just his slow walk with his back and his slow steps and the water faucet. Just like it's like him because it's tough. It's like he can't turn it on at first, but once he lets out, he breaks it and the water starts flowing. It's like him. He's like the dam, and then he unleashes his tears. And then we get to watch him just walk slowly back, and then take that deep breath and compose himself to see the Norman that we all know. It's just it was just a great sequence and a show full of great sequences. Like I think I'll remember this sequence in particular, and or look back on it for oh, it's some of the best shot things, along with Sister Crone's 20-second flashback, and now this.
Yeah, I mean, they really let this moment linger for an appropriate amount of time. One could see this as padding or filler, but it definitely didn't feel like it. They really let you just feel what Norman's feeling. They could have easily kind of brushed over it, or maybe skip straight to him at the faucet with the water pouring out. But no, you were there for every single step of the way. And it really made the moment more impactful. I
mean, part of me feels like I wish I would have saw more of other scenes, because I really, you just always want to know what's happening, what's going to go on. But it was a good moment. I'm glad we got to see Norman in his most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you have Ray, Dawn and Gilda, they're back inside. They're walking down the hallway, and Ray's racking his brain. And then suddenly it seems like he has an idea or something, because he then says, Dawn and Gilda, you got to get ready. And what they're going to get ready for, we get revealed later on. But then we cut back to Norman, and it's basically the reverse of when he went to the faucet. He's now walking back, and just before he goes into the back to Emma's room, you see his face, he kind of takes a deep breath, and he puts on that face again. He has got that smile back, because he's got to be that guy. He's got to be that rock for everyone.
Because he knows if he's not, then his friends are going to worry. He doesn't want his friends to worry. That's the great thing about all three of these leads, is that really they're all really doing it for each other and not for themselves. And that's what makes them different from someone like Mom or any of the other people who are okay with this, this type of world that we live in. But they all want to put on the brave face for one another, because they fight for one another and not for themselves. Just great character building.
Yeah. And so he goes back into the room, and Ray's already there. And Ray and Emma are like, okay, you can't be shipped out tomorrow. And Norman's like, sorry guys, but I'm gonna be shipped out. He's basically essentially surrendering himself, and his argument is they can take my life, and I'll make sure that they don't take anything else. And he does not want there to be a situation where if he's not taken away, then either Norman or Ray are taken away.
Valid points, too.
Yeah, and valid points. And so their plan is essentially, what they want Norman to do is they want Norman to essentially disable the tracking device in his ear, and then scale the wall so they can scout a little bit, and then after that just hide in the forest until they all escape together.
Which is actually, and that was not an idea that we thought of last week, but that's a really smart idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the only option they got.
Yeah, and hearing it, or just we should have thought of that.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
Literally the only thing that they could do.
I mean, I kind of came from Norman's point, and that's why I didn't think of it, because he literally, or Mom literally has their lives in their hands. He already hurt Emma as a showcase of what she could do.
What she's willing to do.
Yeah, and so, as soon as Norman saw that, he realized that she has most of the cards right now, and it's really hard for him to just leave it in Mom's hands, and he's gone.
Yeah, but of course Emma and Ray won't let him do this, and Ray's like, no, we're not going to do that. And then Norman's like, well, what about the increased security? And Ray says, actually, no, the increased security is not going to be a problem for two reasons. One, for the farm to work well, the kids need a free and open space for them to grow appropriately so that their brains taste juicy. And so he says that they won't really increase the security, because if the kids are frightened at all, then that's going to mess with their chemicals and their hormones, and then you're going to have not tasty brains.
Sure,
and the second,
science.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I said last week, remember?
Yeah, you're talking about tasty brains and chemicals.
Yeah, making them scared, doesn't taste very good.
Mm-hmm. And then the second reason is confidentiality. If they were to increase security, it kind of links back to the first point. It's like, the kids are going to notice something, they're going to notice something's up, and the demons are never going to reveal themselves. So that's out of the equation. Basically, Ray is trying to comfort Norman, saying, increase in security is not going to affect our plan. You hiding in the forest is our best bet. And then Norman's like, no, I don't want to do this because, like I just said earlier, he doesn't want them to be taken out as well. And then Ray and Emma are like, well, how about we break Ray's arm and then make him really sick? They're not going to ship him out if he's really sick.
And they get so excited about this. I don't know why. I loved Emma and Ray during this sequence.
Yeah, it's this whole sequence is great because it really solidifies and enforces how much these people really actually care for each other. and also how strong they are, resilient they are. Like if I was in this situation, I wouldn't have half the
game
resolve
over.
they have. I'd be like, yep,
Game
I'm
over,
gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna live a good life and die. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to survive in a world of demons, anyways.
What I don't get is why didn't they suggest Norman to break his arm or get him sick in one day? I don't know if they could do that, but like break his arm. Maybe the demons won't want to have them. And I know Norman makes a point saying that
they did, didn't they? And they said if we break Norman's arm, then it's like, well, if something's wrong with me, then they're gonna choose one of you. And they're like, oh, well, if something's wrong, then we're gonna break all of our arms too,
Yeah.
because that's we're gonna do that. So I mean, like it was just a cause and effect thing.
should have broke his arm just in case.
And the demons would be like, oh, we don't care, we want their brains.
Yeah. That's right.
Saves us from like having to break their bones to get the marrow out. So I mean, like this is helpful for us. I assume they eat marrow too, because I imagine demons eat a lot of marrow.
Yeah, so essentially this confidence in each other, this willingness to do whatever they can for each other, essentially has Norman succumb to the plan. And he cries tears of joy, and they all agree, okay, this is the plan, and this is what they're going to do. And they're all going to survive together. Because no matter what, they all promised each other that they would all escape the farm together, and that's what they're going to do. And yeah. And then after that, we get an answer to one of the questions we were having before, which was, how does Ray know about the secret to the farm? How does he know about the demons and stuff? And so then he goes off on an explanation about infantile amnesia.
It's something I would have never guessed.
Which is
in my
like,
life.
yeah, so...
It's like I remember it from birth.
Yeah,
And I
so-
googled it. So I'm like, this sounds like some fake ass shit, but it's actually what it's called. It's like it's actually accurate.
Yeah, well, I mean, infantile amnesia, for those who don't know, it's basically like you lose your memories as a baby.
Yeah, it's like
I don't have memories as a baby. Do you guys have memories from a baby?
I don't
You
have
know,
memories
baby?
of a
no,
baby.
yeah, it's a phenomenon in psychology there that everyone experiences amnesia where they can't remember up to like 2 years old or so from birth.
And then Ray, though, is a special case because apparently some people don't have this, where they actually remember things from birth. And in Ray's case, he remembers things as a fetus, which is crazy.
I don't know. Maybe he thinks he is a fetus, but he didn't even have a mind as a fetus. I don't know.
He has a small little developing brain. You could probably have memories, maybe.
You have images, you have flashes, like
Yeah.
snapshots.
And essentially, he noticed that there were a disparity between his memories as a baby and his memories as a child. He remembers being basically in the infirmary with other babies, and he remembers what the demons looked like. And then suddenly, he remembers being pushed through a tunnel and into the farm, and that's where his life began. And so he knows that past the tunnel is a bunch of demons and a bunch of adults, and that it's basically from what I gathered. Past the gate is headquarters, is what he said.
Yep.
And then there's 5 adjacent farms. So it seems like the layout of the demon-run world, or at least this complex, is there's headquarters in the middle, and then there's like offshoots.
Pentagon.
There's
I
like
imagined a
hallways leading
pentagon
off
in
to
my
other
head.
arms or farms.
Which makes it even more difficult if they wanted to escape around. Like if they can't go through the gate, obviously, but if they wanted to escape in the forest, aren't they eventually going to just hit another plant?
That's
They have to go away from
That's
the
where I feel like
Yeah.
Ray should have mentioned this. I bet maybe he did to these kids, but I feel like he should have mentioned the layout of all this earlier. I don't know if you guys have I'm just wondering at this point before we see kind of what's on the other side of the wall. What's your image of this world? Because I know in my mind it's like everything in this farm is all full of life and growing, but it's like as soon as you get to the other side of the wall, it's like a red tinted hellhole of like everything's decayed and rotten and like there's dust everywhere.
I'm definitely
that's
thinking.
at least was my mind.
I'm definitely thinking kind of like your stereotypical post-nuclear fallout dystopian world where cities are ruined and there's
Yeah.
no buildings anywhere. But I mean, now that I think about it, if these demons are running the world, they obviously have some sort of society. So I don't think things would be as run down as we imagine them to be. Maybe things would be structured differently. I mean, I just don't think it's as run down as I imagine in my head anymore.
I
Especially-
actually imagined behind or past the wall was more forest, because if it makes sense that there's not going to be demons or like crawling around near these farms, and they only come during shipments. So I just assumed it was more of a forest.
Yeah, not me. barren wasteland. I was so convinced on that. But I guess it makes sense. Like the more and more we hear about, the more and more we hear about, there are more adults on the other side of this than I think I initially believed. Like it just seemed like I thought it was a demon world with demon, but now we kind of get this idea that there's a lot of adults working in service to these demons out there. Which
And
is interesting.
we don't really know like who outnumbers who. It's possible that the humans outnumber the demons, but the demons are so powerful that they subjugated them somehow. There's a lot of questions in this world, and it's something that's going to be, I think, going to carry the series for a long time past whatever arc this comes to.
The farm arc.
The farm arc. The FARC. And so we go on to the next day, and the plan is enacted. Essentially, it's the afternoon, and Norman is off running in the woods, and we see him scale the wall in a way that I did not expect. He kind of he ties a rope to a tree
really
and then
fucking
just
hard.
basically runs up the wall and then makes a jump at the very last moment, and then he's able to scale it that way, which is interesting. I didn't know. Does that work? Can you do that? That's
If they said from the beginning, Norman is athletic, and if you're athletic, you can do things like run up a wall to grab. I think that was like a 25-foot wall or something, and he ran really fast.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't wonder how he got down though, because he let go of the rope. Did he just jump down and like roll, tug and roll?
Yeah, he hung on the edge, and then he got a running start, and he ran down the wall.
Down the wall. But I mean, what did the rope serve in that instance? In that running out?
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm sure it works. I'm thinking like it serves as like, okay, so there's like
Slingshot.
tension because the rope is slightly above you, right? Or yeah, because he ties the rope to probably the very top of the tree. Now that I think about it, so like if you have tension on the rope, you can kind of like run like it's kind of like just running along a string, like a tight string. So like the tree is essentially anchoring you to the rope, and then that tension allows you to basically like run along the wall as if it's a flat
So it
surface.
doesn't
Give you something. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't keep you from falling over.
Yeah. So yeah, that tension is really important, and you have to keep running obviously, or else you fall. But I don't know. It makes sense. I'm gonna trust these kids, these smart kids, and we also get to see the device that Ray has been cooking up to deactivate the tracking devices.
Oh yeah.
And it's essentially just like a mini taser. It looks like, which makes sense because the device we assume is some kind of electrical device. So if you short it with some electricity, then it should disable it pretty easily.
And what I wonder is because he says that all the gifts that mom gave him, he used to build this taser.
Yeah, through the 6 years, he's been smuggling things from the outside as rewards, and he's used all the little components to make his little concoction here.
I thought it was going to be a much more complicated thing. I get it makes sense. It's just a taser, but it's like, yeah, you zap it and it goes off. It's like, well, that's a big leap of faith there, Ray.
I know. It's like, what book did
I
you
wanted
read
Ray to
this
stab
from?
his neck and like zap himself and then like pass out. I was like, oh shit, I killed him.
How the hell does he know? Like, one, how the hell does he know that this is going to work? And where did he get the books to read this and design this?
There's a shit ton of books there.
And then he knows.
He reads books, man.
I know, but like, are there manuals to make tasers? Like,
But I bet it goes back to maybe he tested this. He tested some type of sequence on the kids. Cause it goes back to that scene where Emma's like, "You didn't find out the tracker stuff by looking at other kids, did you? Huh? Actually, don't answer that."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna chalk it up to that.
You forgot a scene before Norman reaches the wall about when he goes in his bedroom.
Oh yeah, so the package that Sister Crone left behind, we assumed was for Ray, or at least I assumed it was for Ray. But it looks like it was for Norman, because he's checking through his stuff, and he finds the package and the pen inside his drawer. Either that or he's rummaging through Ray's stuff for some reason. But in any case, he finds it. And we still don't know what's in there, but it must be of significance in the next episode.
I thought we were going to get answers. Nope.
No.
Nope, more questions.
Put it off till next episode.
Norman finally scales the wall. He looks out into the horizon, and he has a small little smile on his face. But what does it mean? Is it comfort? Is it relief? Is it happiness? Well, we'll see in a few moments when I talk to you about it, because Ray and so it's sunset now, and Ray and Emma are waiting for Mom to find out that Norman has essentially escaped or hidden himself. So Mom looks around. He's like, "Oh, where's Norman?" And then she checks her device, and Ray and Emma are like, "Ha, He's not gonna find him. And so, after a very long pause, she just closes the device, smiles, and says, welcome back, Norman. And wouldn't you know it, Norman comes walking back.
Oh,
and when
my
when I got to this moment, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was a really good moment.
Goodness.
The plan did not go through. He did not escape.
And again, at that moment, I thought, oh, he came back because he couldn't do it. He couldn't risk his friends, and he was going to sacrifice himself.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
But it turns out, and of course, Ray and Emma are super pissed at him for it. But the reveal is that Norman reveals what he found, and it's a cliff. Right on the other side of the wall is a big-ass cliff separating the wall itself and the forest beyond. And it is a sizable one, too. It's not something you can jump over or even build like an easy rope mechanism. It's a sizable cliff. And
So
that's when the episode ends.
way. Yeah, so there's no way they could convince somebody that somebody escaped because there really is no escape in their way.
Yes, and if you guys remember in the last episode, there was a flashback of Grandma talking to a girl on top of the wall as well, and asking her to come down. It seems like, and you guys said that you guys think that was Mom on top of the wall. Well, I guess Mom, if it was Mom, she basically gave up like Norman just did, and was like, well, I can't escape through here, so I might as well make the most of my life. So. That's the secret of the wall, everyone. It's a cliff. You cannot escape.
There's a cliff on this side. A
It's
real
just-
cliffhanger.
It's just so sad seeing Norman's eyes where it's just like
it
super
looked like
wide
dead
and
inside,
defeated.
yeah.
Yeah.
He gave up. Okay, guys. So go ahead. I was just
I
gonna
was
say
just
let's discuss theories. But you can go. What were we gonna
I
say?
would say it's amazing that this episode was so good, even though we essentially kind of started and stopped in the same place. Like, like not a whole lot happened in terms of, oh, Norman's going to get chipped out. And it's like, that's how last episode ended. And that's how this episode ended, without much leeway besides there's a cliff on the other side. But this episode was still so good to me.
Same,
Even though
yeah.
this is like, it was probably, I would say just the least plot heavy one of all the things we've seen
Yeah,
before.
it's still a roller coaster, and like I said, it lingers on some moments, but it does it in a way that's effective. Like, for example, even at the end, before Norman reveals what's on the wall, he kind of like walks slowly off frame into the end of the room before revealing what he saw at the other end, which is, it all builds up. And then there's those moments where like Mom is checking the stopwatch or her tracking device to see where they are, and it kind of like it cuts back and forth between everyone's faces before finally revealing that Norman returns.
It makes my heart race every time. I'm like, God, please tell me.
The show's really, really masterful at building anticipation and also leaving behind certain clues, and it's just a good way of building up to the next episode, making you want to see the next one, because we still have questions that need to be answered, like what's in that package and pen that Sister Crone left behind, but most importantly, how they're going to get out of this one, because the last episode was very much like that, like how are they going to get out of this one, and they come up with a solution pretty quickly. So now it's like, well, how are they going to get out of this one?
Because it is sunset, and Norman's supposed to be shipped out in like a couple
Like,
hours.
like an hour.
They have at most a few hours.
They don't have a scene like they basically had all day the day before of just like Mom leaving them to their own accords.
So speaking of which, I have a quick question. So knowing, well, maybe this is the answer, but knowing that there's a cliff on the other side of the wall, why didn't Mom just let Norman do the inspection of the wall the day before? Why did she have to break Emma's leg, or knee? Why didn't she just let him see the other side of the wall?
I think it's all orchestrated in a way to constantly break their spirits. I think first you have the low-hanging fence, then you have the wall, then you have the cliff. So there's like several layers of mechanisms to try and prevent these kids from escaping. But with each revelation, it's meant to break their spirit. So even the most rebellious kids will think like, oh, like we have a chance to escape. But with each new obstacle that comes their way, it just breaks them down further and further. So I think it's all part of the plan. Like, it's like Mom probably knew, hey, they're probably going to try and get over the wall anyways. I'm just going to stall it out, break her leg, boom. That's one thing that'll go against them. And then the next day, save that juicy little reveal for them to find out themselves. And it ended up working because Norman came back to her of his own accord. So I think it's the farm is expertly designed to break the spirits of these kids, and it's up to these kids to find out how to actually go through that. So what do you guys think is going to happen next episode? Theories on
I
how they're going to
think-
get out of this one.
Okay, I think the only logical way, two things are going to happen. One, Ray, I'll go out there first. That next week is actually Ray's last episode. His plan from the beginning was to sacrifice himself so that Norman and Emma could escape. He's going to volunteer to go in Norman's place, and that's the last we see of Ray. For now, but that's unlikely. It's almost as unlikely as my next theory, which is the only way I can see them getting out of it is if they turn Mom. If they can somehow appeal to Mom's and get Mom on their side. In even though I don't think that's going to happen either, but I can't see another solution out of this besides trying to convince Mom of her humanity once again, using her, or using not even maybe not even turning her, maybe using whatever's in the box and the pen to blackmail Mom in a sense, to turn the tide on Mom so that they have the upper hand and they don't have to be shipped out right away. That's my theory. That's
Okay.
the only that's how I think they're going to get
What
it.
about you, Tori?
My theory is stupid, but it's the only one I got. That they're gonna tackle and kill the one demon that comes in their facility.
Wow, that would be amazing. Just a bunch of kids ganging up on this demon thing
Yeah.
with their
And
ropes
the-
and knives.
With
And
Phil
then they
leading the
hold-
charge.
Yeah. No, it'd be Don, man. He's the muscle man.
Or okay, second plan. They have to probably kill the demon because he's gonna come regardless. But they also hold Mom hostage, and then they pretend to be Mom on the phone and stuff. Oh, everything's fine, Grandma.
They weekend at Bernie's it.
Weekend at Bernie's. Promised Neverland.
Oh, man. That'd be funny. Okay, I've got a few theories. All right, so one of them is very simple. Whatever's in that package, whatever's in that pen is going to help them out somehow in some immense way. Don't know what's in there. I can't think of what's going to be in there. But yeah, it's going to be used to help them escape, essentially. And then my other theory is that earlier in the episode, Ray says that he still has a trump card to handle Mom. And it was sort of just mentioned in passing, but it looks to be like there's something significant that Ray still has up his sleeve that we have yet to see. So that could be another solution. He might have to pull it out earlier than he thought he would, but it's like kind of maybe his like plan Z, like his last plan to kind of keep Mom off their backs or where shit really goes wrong.
So you basically agree with me. Use Mom as blackmail. Blackmail Mom.
Hold
Yeah,
Mom hostage.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's blackmail
Weekend at
specifically.
Bernie's.
I'm not saying it's blackmail specifically. I'm just saying it's something that he has that he can use against Mom. And then my last one's a bit more specific because this episode was all about them like, we're never gonna die. We're gonna help each other till the end. And I think if they did that again next episode, it might be a bit of old hat. So I think at this point, Norman is essentially defeated. He's probably like, he saw the wall for himself. He saw how big that cliff was, and it must have impacted him psychologically, and that's why he decided to come back. I think he's fully surrendered at this point, at least for now. So that means it's up to Ray and Emma to keep him alive, because they're still going to do whatever they can to keep him alive. So I think they're going to summon Dawn, and Ray's going to be like, Dawn, knock him out. And so Dawn's going to knock out Norman against his will, and then they're going to hide Norman in like a plank under the floorboards so that he can't be taken away. So it's like their old plan, but they with different steps. It's kind of like they're not going to hide Norman like in the forest or whatever. They're going to tie him up in the house and hide him somewhere.
That is a very specific theory.
Okay, I have two more theories. I'm going to go off your theory of hiding him and knocking him out, except where I'm going to say that maybe they'll kill him, quotation marks, make him look dead and brain dead. And then his
Pen is fake death.
yeah.
Oh.
And then it looks like, ew, that's old. Like you're not supposed to eat animals that you find dead, like out in the wilderness because you don't know how they died.
Oh.
You know that,
We're not
Coby,
supposed
right?
to. Yeah, I know that. Sure.
In case they have like some weird disease or parasites or something.
Okay, so they kill Norman. What's your next one?
My next one is that and I know this, if someone's going to debunk my theory, but they're going to take one of the trees next to the big old wall and knock it down, and the tree's going to knock or break the wall and create a bridge across the giant
Okay.
cliff.
I know this is podcast form, but I wish we can just insert when Emma and Ray said denied, like to them.
Yeah, that would be
At
a
that
big
point.
ass tree. I mean, we that is a possibility we
thick-ass
haven't
wall, though.
we haven't really discussed. I mean, the wall could be, you could probably destroy it somehow. I mean, nah, these kids probably can't destroy it. Maybe they build a tunnel under the wall, and then from that tunnel underneath the wall, they start slowly building a bridge, like a rope bridge.
In 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well,
just
I mean,
think
this is
the
a
only
long-term plan.
solution,
I think
really, because you can't go over the cliff. I think it's informing us that the only solution is really through the gate.
Right, yeah.
That's the only way you can go to the facility itself.
Well, and I mean that might lend credence to the fact that maybe Mom is still in her own way rebelling against the demons, because if the only way to escape the farm is through the gate, I mean you past the gate it's swarming with demons and adults. You can't really hide there forever, so you kind of have to integrate yourself into that society. And then if you're still trying to rebel against the demons, you would try and change it from the inside. Work your way in the inside.
Yeah.
Change the system, kind of thing.
I'm still all for the mom's working her own angle thing. She's bad, but she's also good in her own way.
Yeah, she's doing what she needs to do for now.
So are you saying she's on the team of the kids?
I wouldn't say team kids. I would say team anti-demon.
Team human. Yeah, if the
team human.
kids they're kind of like collateral damage, because the whole point of these kids is to be served up on like this crazy feast. It seems like for the uber high ups.
Him.
So these are very important assets, and she cannot mess this up. And that's another thing we haven't really discussed yet, is like, what's the implication of all that? Like, what does this all mean? Why are they special specifically? Is it just because they're smart, or is there another reason?
'Cause they got
and then
tasty brains.
is this meal like some kind of famous ritual? Like, maybe this meal is the only way the demons have control over the world. I don't know. There's
Hopefully
still
we find out next time.
a wealth of things to discuss. But yeah, that's the episode. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
I just have one more question, and I know they've kind of gone through it, but I just feel like this was so important that it just they wasted their time knowing about it now. I know they've last episode they planned on scaling the wall, but then Mom found out. But I feel like they had so much time to just do a simple come over the wall, check it out. Oh no, there's a cliff. We have to come up with another plan.
Well,
Did you see how hard it was for Norman? Norman has to like rope up and parkour up like a 100-foot wall. I mean, that takes some time to hype yourself up for.
I know, but he's been to the wall at least 5 times or so.
Yeah, I mean, the past few times they've tried to, they've been thwarted. Like the one time Mom found them, the other time Sister Crone interrupted them, and then the time before that they were trying to do some recon with like Dawn and Gilda and trying to really set things up so that they wouldn't be detected. And the trackers were a very important facet of that plan, because they were trying to figure out a way to get around that, and essentially their solution the last time was for Ray to distract Mom while they go climb the wall, which that didn't end up happening. And now the solution is to basically just break the tracker. But I don't know. I think it's been paced out correctly.
I guess we'll see.
I guess so.
All right, Coby, would you like to sign us off?
Sure. You've been listening to this on Nerd Blaze. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thank you all for the comments that you've given so far. Some of you have gone really in depth and helped us understand a lot more about what's happening. So thank you all very much for that. Continue to do that. We like the conversations and the points you guys bring up. We would go into more of those, but we're already running a bit late. But again, we're on Nerd Blaze. We do weekly anime reviews along with a podcast called Sports. It's not called Sports. It's called Anime Ricochet. Called Sports. Two dudes who talk about two dudes who know nothing about sports talk about sports anime. I butchered that. But anyway, thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See you next week.
See ya.